Hello everyone, this is In-Game Arts, who did an unboxing, another offline product game review. This is Resident Evil 2 Remake for the PlayStation 4, but this is being played and tested on my PlayStation 5. To jump right into it, this physical copy here is just a base vanilla version of the game, so the on-disc version is 1.0. Now sadly there was an update available. This update size was 1.4 gigabytes big and will take you to version 1.06 since the time of this video. Now like always, I play all my games completely offline with an unregistered account, and I didn't experience any game-breaking bugs or issues. The game worked perfectly flawless to beginning to end with perfect steady frame rate at 60 frames per second and no hiccups. There was one minor graphical bug issue down in the lab, but I do recall this graphical issue the first time I played through it on my PlayStation 4, so nothing new there, and it wasn't like a distracting or obscuring the gameplay experience, but it is noticeable that you can see this like wavy, watery effect in the lab on certain wall effects in the game, but nothing crucially important. But as I said, I was still unlocking trophies with my unregistered account, which is extremely nice, and overall is a really good experience to beginning in on my PlayStation 5. Now, like I said, the game does have a 1.4 gigabyte update. Nothing crucial, nothing ultimately needed, but it does add the language of Arabic and Thai, so that's really important for someone out there who would like to be able to play this game but only understand those languages. And if you're probably wondering what makes this so big, is that the update also includes the DLC content, which is paid content, but it's like Ghost Survivors or Ghost Stories. They're kind of like small little missions, side stories that are non-canon, where you get to play as Kendo and like the mayor's daughter, which they're not actually canon. They're just small little story gameplay snippets you get to play, but nothing crucially important. But one of the bigger ones that might be missing is that the game, when you bought the game, like the bonus, the pre-order bonus, if you will, had the original soundtrack from the original game, which that is kind of disappointing, but the soundtrack in this remake is actually fairly decent. So it's not that big of a deal that it's not on the disc. But again, it is disappointing, but hopefully maybe down the road we will see like a PS5 collection or something like that, which will come with like Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 3 Remake, and maybe the Origins collection or something like that, but who knows. But for right now, for my experience, offline completely, this was a great experience to beginning and end. I have talked about Resident Evil 2 Remake when I first played it on my PlayStation 4, and it blows my mind that when this is the first time I came back to this game in 4 years. Can you imagine that? It's already been 4 years since this game came out, and it's still phenomenal. The gameplay is great, the action, the flow of the game is still really good. It is disappointing that there are some elements that are cut down or slimmed down compared to the original experience on the PlayStation 1, but the overall remake quality is still top tier. You can tell they really took the time and passion to make sure the experience is authentic and plays really well with the over-the-shoulder style instead of like the fixed camera angle and tank controls. But I do want to point out some emphasis. I disagree when people say that this remake pretty much makes the original game obsolete. While I do agree that the remake here, mechanically and graphically, is far superior than the original game. While I am a big fan of tank controls, and I am a big fan of fixed camera angles, I am well aware that those controls are not the cleanest and smoothest. There's no denying the fixed camera angle behind the shoulder or the no tank controls. It's just, it feels better to play. That's undeniable. But there are some aspects about the original game that is actually, I think, is better than the remake. First off, I mentioned that there are some missing elements that are cut down. While in the original game, the lab felt more bigger, as well as you had the city you ran through a little bit longer compared to this remake. As well as that the interactions with Leon and Claire is a little bit more consistent. You don't just like meet once within the remake and you never meet again. While in the original game, there's a little bit more interactions between the characters, which was extremely nice to see. And it's a little disappointing that it's absent in this one. But in the end, it's still a phenomenal remake. I think the game gets a lot of praise just because this was the first time a remake of this quality. I mean, I think we can look back now and see how much they've cut out and just how quick the game is, and there's not much of a reward after beating the game, which is extremely disappointing. And on that note, that's why I wanted to point out this flaw about the game. I wish the game had some of the mod features that the PC version has, where people have included like a random generator mode where every time you play it, zombies might be a different kind of zombie, or item placements could be different. I think that could have been really included into the console version, but give more value. So like the first time you play it, everything can be fixed, and then when you beat throughout the first run and the second run, then you unlock custom mode, where the game could allow you to change statistics and stuff like that, or play random generator mode, where items will be randomly generated in different areas. That way, that will provide a lot more replay value and provide every run a unique run. That way, somebody who's already played the game hundreds of hours can have a new experience every time, and you never know what to get ready for. But in the end, that's saying would've, could've, should've kind of style kind of thing. It's still phenomenal at this point, but I can see a lot of people now come back to it and point out, I mean, you could literally beat this game within a single day. Like, I ran through this game, and it's been 4 years, and I pretty much beat it over a weekend, and that's me casually playing. If I knew everything and memorized everything, I could have beaten this game in one day, and that's pretty quick. But it doesn't mean that it's not a bad game. Just because something's short or simple doesn't mean it's just, oh, it's unplayable and it's not, they should be ashamed of themselves. It's just more that we have acknowledged that gaming has evolved, where we expect a little bit more content, a little bit more replay value in our games, because this is a one and done kind of style game, which again, there's nothing wrong with that, but you could see where they could have added a little bit more replay value, like I was talking about with the random generator mode or something like that. But in the end, this game ran great on my PlayStation 5. It's definitely well worth the pick up to add to your collection. Hopefully, like I said, we'll see like a remaster versions of like 2 and 3, and maybe eventually we might get a remake of the original first game, and just to add a whole complete collection of Resident Evil on PlayStation 5. But in the end, like I said, I really enjoyed it. The gameplay is smooth. There's not a lot of bad negatives about the game. The zombies are scary. The environments are uneasy and terrifying. The music's actually really good. The voice acting, the pacing, and everything of the game is just phenomenal. And I just had a blast playing it. And like, there's nothing truly wrong about the game, other than if we want to nitpick certain elements. Like I said, the cut content, how quick it is, lack of replay value. But overall, it's still a fun game to just pop it in and do it over the weekend. And sometimes that's extremely nice to have a game like that. Instead of a game you have to invest hundreds of hours to finally 100% complete, sometimes it's nice to have one of these games you can just pop in over the weekend and just beat it and one and done. And every time I've ever played this game, I've always played it in a hardcore mode. I have never played on standard difficulty or lower. I can't even imagine myself going lower. So it's like I said, that's the point. Once I beat in a hardcore mode, there's no real reason to come back. But definitely will come back to this game. I enjoyed myself immensely, and it should be within anybody's collection who's a survival horror fan or a Resident Evil fan. And it's great that it works on PS5. So I'm going to stop rambling now. This is a great game to pick up. Maybe eventually I'll start covering the other Resident Evils, but I'm trying to go at it slowly and here and there, and just try to slowly cover them as we go on. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next unboxing video. Bye-bye!